Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. Hey, it's Monday and we have all kinds of things to go over, but I'm not 100% sure which one I want to go over with first. But going back in a little bit of time, we have the al-Sudani, the Prime Minister, his office. They came up with, well, during his beginning, a Ministerial Council of Economics, and so that goes back a little while. But they were like the legal side, they were the banking side, they were the professional side of his platform, and they talked about specific things that they were going to do in the future. They were going to be basically developing the economy and the service industry, okay, and those sectors. And so that's what we're expected to see, because they're going to have a budget in the future, and we're waiting for that to come out, which is the 2022, 2023, 23, 24, and 25. And they're going to be slightly different, and they go on to talk about bits and pieces of it. So if you go back in time and you see what they said, say back in January 3rd, for instance, they're trying to set a stage to where they're headed and where they're going. And we're going to get to that, I hope, tonight really quickly. Okay. Their goals were based off of curriculum that was written, and that curriculum is going to be exposed through, whether it be finance, whether it be the oil and gas, whether it be taxes and tariffs at the borders, all of that stuff were revenue streams. And I believe that that's what they were talking about, so that they could get to an economy that's based off of not just an operational state-run economy, but an investment economy. So we're seeing that right now. The interesting side of this was that the 2023 budget, 2024, 2025 has been said since last November, January, February of this year, etc., to be easy, no big deal, everybody's ready for it. But they haven't exposed it yet. So we're going to see what they do in the future. Back then, there was Article 4 consultations with the IMF, the World Bank, and others, Federal Audit Bureau, and you're seeing things like that today. You're seeing things that are talking about audit. So they're dropping bits and pieces of articles that are really kind of important, because they're getting to a state of legality. They're really going to try to express themselves, I think, as fundamentally ready to go in an international situation. Let's see, for instance, Taif Sami, she's the finance minister. She is the legal side of things, and that's part of that MCOE, okay? She's involved with the Integrity Commission. They were talking about special accounts in coordination with the investigation court, which is to bring back money. They're talking about that. There's billions and billions of dollars that have been stolen from this country, and they are going to tap that keg and bring it back home. So what we're going to see is that into the near future, that those monies should likely come back and be supportive of the exchange rate of their future currency. The income streams I've talked about have always been about supporting the value of their currency, and those are some of the things that we're going to see. Investment projects, the private sector, those are going to be huge influxes of money. Once they open this to the world, everything's going to drive economy. It's going to be, whether it's the food industry, the gas stations, the mini stores, the Cinnabon, for instance, that's opened up in Baghdad or into Iraq this recent. Those are the things that are just going to help drive and support the investment side of Iraq's economy. Don't forget, some folks don't seem to think that the Abuna platform has anything to do with anything. I think they're really blatantly mistaken, because these new platforms, the SWIFT, which is the new SWIFT, which is going to take charge of the old SWIFT, which is the ISO 2002022. That's what's clearing currency. That's the platform that's doing things today in Iraq. It isn't the old SWIFT, it's the new one. So when they say there's going to be, in the addition of the Iraqi dinar, in the Buna platform for an Arab payment system, those guys in the MCOE, they know what they're talking about. People out in the guru world, they don't necessarily know what they're talking about. Finding secure positions for the bank's reserves, which is cash and the Iraqi dinar. There's huge banking systems that are out there working to do this. JP Morgan's one of them. They created sub accounts for electronic payment services in the Buna platform. So you can't deny that. You come into Patreon, you go to January 3rd, you can see what I'm talking about. There's a link for it from the CBI. Specifically talks about the Buna platform. It talks about JP Morgan's accounts. It talks about all these different things, real-time gross settlement systems. So everybody, needs to pay attention. This new FDIC that people are talking about, it isn't really anything new. It's actually something that's been around for a while, and it's really actually a positive sign. If they're reiterating it, which we haven't seen anything today or yesterday, I have not seen it. If it's out there, I'd love to find it. But the bottom line is that we can go back to April 5th of this month. We talked about this in Patreon. We have the data that supports this. We've got to remember one thing about the Muslims. They're in their holiday, etc. But one of the really key focuses that I talked about years ago was Sukuk, S-U-K-U-K. It's a hybrid financial instrument. It's basically an instrument where the Muslims, the Sharia law, allows them to invest, and in their original investment, from my understanding, is that they don't lose any money. If you deposit $100 and you invest it, it grows, great. But in the end, if it was to fail, you get your money back, your $100. That's one of the things. Another thing is that they talk about, they talked about trying to get all the citizens and merchants into the banking system because they didn't have financial inclusion. But the main thing was they were trying to get them to do deposits, and we're talking about, for the last months, many months, to get these people to do these things. But here was one of the biggest things was an easy and attractive way for depositors without also neglecting to strengthen the role of the deposit guarantee company. Well, that's the FDIC in our country, Deposit Guarantee Company. This was back in April, early April. Okay, we already knew this stuff. The bottom line is that they're going to be activating it, or they're going to move forward on it. So we should actually keep in mind that all these things that are happening are going towards a market economy. And so today, in brief, is that Mohammed Saleh, who is the Prime Minister's advisor, he came back with a really good article. It's in Patreon. I labeled it as freedom of trade, capital movement, and compliance, because Iraq's meeting all these things: freedom of trade, freedom of capital movement, and in compliance with all the international rules and regulations. That's what he's talking about. He's basically stating in this today, it's already done. It's already there. He's announcing it. Maybe he's kind of front running him. It's not from al-Sudani. It's not from Malak. But the bottom line is, this is the guy that's an advisor. He's actually on the board of directors of the CBI. This guy comes out and talks. We all listen. Everybody should be listening. He basically comes out and says that he's confirmed that the implementation of two policies that supported the Iraqi dinar against foreign currencies, and revealing government measures that removed obstacles to foreign trade. So in other words, he can freely trade, okay? That's basically what this whole situation is about. Basically, it says the monetary policy of the Central Bank of Iraq has proven that it has the ability and high flexibility and coordination, and with support of the government policies and providing exceptional capabilities to impose stability on pricing. That's goods and services. and in general, the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar against foreign currencies in particular. So in other words, hey, we can adjust these things. We can do all this stuff with whoever we want, when we want, and we can keep it stable. That's the whole part about a free economy and a market economy. You're going to have some controls, all those different things. He goes on, I guess, by saying that the monetary policy side, by facilitating external transfers, that's money moving out, and those procedures are dealing with them coming in so that they have restrictions in dealing with the foreign currency, and all that's done with legal channels, procedures. It's digital. They're going to a digital platform. We already all know that. They haven't just completely 100% exposed it to the world yet, but this guy comes out today on the 24th, he's talking about this, okay? And he's also relating to that it's professional legal and everything's fast, furious, effectively. Freedom of external trade. That's freedom of capital movement. What else can you have? We would like to think that's Article 8 compliant. IMF rules discuss that they have to have an exchange rate, an international acceptable exchange rate, to be able to have freedom of capital movement. This man is suggesting that they're ready and prepared to have that. I'm not saying it leads me to believe that it's past tense, but we haven't seen it yet. Last thing, it says it's consistent with all laws, international and national laws. They're in compliance. Regulatory compliances are massive. So investors are going to want to know that. There's been laws that have been passed. Everything's ready to go, and they're actually supporting this. So what we're going to be seeing, hopefully in the next short period of time, is that they are going to show us that they have that flexibility in the trade and activity. They've told us that they've already moved it to that new platform, which is allowing even you and I effectively, if we were in Iraq, to be able to trade. We could be able to do all the things that everybody else does. They've cut out the nepotism. They've cut out the mediators. They've cut out all that mafiosos type circumstances, and they have it down to this platform to where that they know who their customers are. So that if you want to come in, little guy, come on in, bring it in. We can do that. So some of these legal channels, these procedures, the digital banking mechanisms that are in place are going to help facilitate this. And what we're seeing today is that coming to a head. It's a powerful story. I just wanted to bring it to you tonight, and I thank you very much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.